Welcome to this presentation on the roadmap to take major decisions that affect your professional success, your personal pursuits, your career, your life. I'm Ajoy Basu. Everyone goes through the essential dilemmas of life as one stands at various crossroads in different phases of his or her journey, a journey that we call life. From the time you have to choose your educational pursuit from a few options, choosing one professional course over the other, choosing one institution over the other for a professional course or training, answering the question, should I become a lawyer or an accountant, a professor or a corporate professional, whether you should be a sportsman or a regular employee, whether to join this company or that, whether to take a transfer to another place or not, whether to continue with or leave this job, whether to drastically change your career path midstream, not many do that, whom to choose as a business or even a life partner coming to your personal life. All such decisions can be at a cost, factoring a risk that can significantly impact you and your family positionally and economically. For many, they easily follow the herd instinct or decide impulsively. We may call it the gut feeling. For some, it is an almost involuntary drift as no serious evaluation is done. For so many, the inhibiting considerations of sheer financial insecurity and economic compulsions decide the course for the moment. It is almost by default, which then elongates and extends to the rest of his or her life. This inner voice is suppressed consciously or otherwise by habit. For many, this is the harsh reality. As a trainer and mentor, I face these questions quite often when someone reaches out to me to get directional guidance on his or her career, or for that matter, life. I consider this as an onus, a matter of immense responsibility to help set right the rudder of the ship, which is now in cross currents and if not in the wilderness of the ocean. There are some essential points which I need to advance here. The answers to these questions can make or break your life. These fundamental questions manifest in many forms, like a young student wanting to ask me whether I should go for internship to a big firm or a small firm. As a professional, should I take a foreign posting or not? It sets me thinking. I need to put myself into the shoes of that person who's posing that query to me. Often, it is not a one-time question or answer. The doubts can linger, will often rise again, and if you need to address them from time to time, ignoring them without conscious and systematic address could be a major loss, as it will put you into an unnavigated drift from which it may be difficult to recover. We come to the next slide. This is for the solution. We defined the problem, how critical it is for you to take those major decisions. So how do you decide in these matters? Is it strictly your baby which you need to solve for yourself? Can you delegate it? Or is there some other way to resolve it? Let me present my take on this subject. A methodology which has been practiced by me and advanced to so many whom I mentor. You need to brainstorm, introspect. How do you do that? First, use an Excel workbook. Create and label 2 sheets therein. One, I can call it the chronicle, and 2, decisions. You have your choice of using a precise word, what suits you. Now, why Excel? Because each spreadsheet is a huge canvas with more than 16,000 columns, if you can believe me, and more than 12 lakh rows. It is easier to do calculations and also to move the data therein just by dragging them. You can sequence it so beautifully. I do it all the time. When you start, jot down your strengths. Let's say you start today. Jot down your strengths, weaknesses, the resources that you have, and your priorities, your goals in life, both professional and personal. Type them as they come in. Don't filter. Don't try to evaluate at that point in time. It has to be a seamless transfer, a direct offload of your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas. These have to be entered date-wise, time-wise. Later, days and weeks later, as you map the emerging points, you can find out the times at which your seminal juices really peak and flow. The neuro guys call it the theta time, when you are the most creative. The theta brain waves are very, very creative. That all the neuro guys, the psychologists will tell you. As the Excel sheet develops, it will be a long chronicle of one's thoughts, experiences, inputs from others, and most important, reflections when you carefully evaluate what you have offloaded, trying to listen to that inner voice, the call of your story. It can be the hint of what destiny is actually beckoning to you. Here it is important to be proficient at typing skills. You may not believe it, but the ability to look at the magical, self-defining content on the screen as they get seamlessly transferred from your mind onto the screen. You need to be actually looking at it to experience it, for it to sink in really. If you're going to look down at the keyboard and then lift your head and then again down below, it becomes a pain in your neck, and most important, that vital connect would be lost. Also, the strain, the sheer effort of doing it will tire you, and soon you will abandon this wonderful self-journey. Mastering the keyboard is a vital attribute that affects many, many areas of your practical ability. In fact, it's a very pivotal point of my course, Job Performance Enhancement Mastery. Updating and studying this self-brainstorming and self-evaluation sheet will be a lifelong pursuit. Entering and expressing ideas as and when they strike you, maybe once a week or more often, say at about 10 to 20 minutes at a stretch. On a day when you are really relaxed, spend more time going through the rows of the spreadsheet which you have populated. Draw inferences, move the data, try to figure out what is the call suggested by your introspection. What does your inner voice say? Are you going towards your destiny which your subconscious mind, your conscious mind have suggested? And does it throw up so much for active consideration? After say about 10 sittings and entering data, put down the emerging points. After going through all that you have documented, put down the emerging points. Seek guidance from established people, particularly from those who excel in the vocation or industry which you are targeting. Document their inputs. These are your ideals, your heroes. Don't hesitate to approach them. You will find that they are more forthcoming than what you feel at the beginning, and that makes you quite apprehensive. Pay more attention to inputs from those who can methodize the journey, means put it into a method, even in hindsight. Often you will find some really brilliant and successful people who will agree to guide you, but who will never be able to really explain how they reached there. They cannot put it into a method. For though they are geniuses blessed with extraordinary acumen, they can achieve, but they cannot train and guide you systematically. Of course, you should still seek guidance from them and quickly record in your sheet the gist of it, but no further. Whenever you seek guidance from a wise soul, look to get a method to reach where and how they have reached. This is very significant. These broad steps are really significant. Later in life, as you meander your way as regards your education, career, skills, etc., you will not and ordinarily not make radical changes. Those have been made in the beginning. Progressively in time, you will only confirm the appropriateness of the journey and make minor tweaks. You cannot make radical changes all the time. At times you will need to correlate the stuff in your spreadsheet lying in different slots. For instance, what you have stated maybe in the 50th row needs to be correlated with the one in the 150th row, as a common thread seems to weave them together. It is a fascinating experience as you string together a story based on your thoughts, your feelings, what your inner being suggests, as they all manifest on the screen in a rather subterranean way. A story of seemingly random thoughts that seek to be part of a design. It really happens. I've experienced it. I maintain one more adjacent sheet in the workbook, which I label it as decisions. These are the decisions which again I put forth date-wise. This is brief as it reflects the juice of your introspection culled out from your chronicle sheet and concretized into goals and targets. The self-brainstorming introspection sheet, which I call the chronicle, ensures that you will eventually take major decisions or tweak the course only after a good amount of evaluation and self-reflection. Else, a very impactful, wonderful, striking and revealing immediate event can hijack your thinking because the momentary impact is so great, and you can take a decision on the spur of the moment that is fraught with risk, as enough evaluation would not have gone into that decision. Though a lot of thought, evaluation and reflection goes into this self-brainstorming and introspection process, this is not to say that the best decision would always evolve from it. But you will have the satisfaction that it is a duly considered one, anchored on solid ground and searching inputs derived from your experience, the guidance you have sought from others, your own cogitation, and most important, a synthesis that has happened over a stretch of time. It will defy the allegation, if at all, that you have, that it was done unintelligently, prematurely, or impulsively. You can forgive yourself even if things go wrong. After that, I will have no regrets, really, even if the decisions do not work out. On the contrary, I will make it work with all the commitment and confidence at my command. So friends, this is the method, a habit that is fundamental to my approach to major decision making in my life. It is a wonderful experience sifting through the chronicles of your life, documented in the spaces of the spreadsheet. In my last slide, that is the third slide, I provide you with a first look, a glimpse at the template I would follow if I were to start this self-brainstorming, introspecting journey today to populate my chronicle. You can see here there are two sheets in the Excel workbook. One is the chronicle and two decisions. That is at the bottom, you can see on the left side. Under chronicle, if you look at the sheet now, my self-perception, my strengths, my weaknesses, my resources, educationally, materially. This is an excellent starting point, an honest self-evaluation, your own status check, and then the date-wise chronicle in which I will map my thoughts and feelings for the rest of my life, and then draw the emerging points. In the other sheet, decision, which is adjacent, I'm not getting into that, but there's nothing in it except the label. I'll put the decisions I've taken based on my chronicle date-wise. I'll crystallize the action plan based on the chronicle sheet. So from the chronicle sheet to the decision sheet is a beautiful and well-researched transition. This one approach, one Excel workbook, my friends, can redefine and systematically plot the further course of my life. This is something which I've personally practiced and imparted to my mentees, and they've always thanked me for this. Try it for yourself. Thank you very much for watching this special presentation.